My name's Chris Lunn. I'm 56 years old. I recently retired earlier this year, and my wife and I are interested in traveling, volunteering, learning, and spending time with friends and family. Well, what I didn't know about vitamin D, and probably should have, was its impact on bone health. Earlier this year, I fractured my foot skiing, and I've skied for years, and it was a relatively minor bump that I went over, caused a hairline fracture. And then more recently, with the part of this study, I found that my levels of vitamin D were actually below average, which surprised me given that I spend so much time outdoors. I was really, I've noticed a lot of controversy lately about supplements in general. And vitamin D, I thought at one point it was known that it was something that we needed in high dosages, and then I've seen conflicting messages. So I think they're still trying to determine what the appropriate dose is.
I'm Dr. David Hanley. I'm a professor in the Faculty of Medicine here at the University of Calgary, and clinically I'm an endocrinologist. Vitamin D is very important. We need vitamin D to absorb calcium from our diet, as well as phosphate, and calcium and phosphate are the main bone minerals. It makes our bones hard and strong. So that a deficiency of vitamin D results in disorders like rickets in childhood or osteomalacia in adult. We think milder forms of vitamin D deficiency are probably quite important in the development of osteoporosis, a much more common problem. We are currently conducting a study of 3 doses of vitamin D. We're going to start with what Health Canada recommends, and that would be a supplement intake of 400 units a day. We'll compare that to what Health Canada has recommended as the maximum dose that can be taken safely without medical supervision, which would be 4,000 units a day. And some people working in the vitamin D field have suggested that that maximum dose should actually be as high as 10,000 units a day. So we chose 10,000 units a day. Over 3 years, we will look at a variety of outcomes, but our focus is on a highly specialized measurement of bone that not only measures bone density, but also looks at the structure of bone.
I'm Steve Boyd. I'm a biomedical engineer. I work in the Faculty of Medicine as well as in the Schulich School of Engineering and Faculty of Kinesiology at the University of Calgary. We are starting a study that looks at the effects of vitamin D on bone health, and we're looking to recruit participants for this study for the next 3 years in this trial, where we want to test 3 different doses of vitamin D and how that might impact their bone health and some other peripheral aspects that might be affected by vitamin D. The challenge of vitamin D is that there are no good studies out there that actually look at directly the relationship of bone strength and vitamin D dose, and to do so on a dose-dependent basis. So we're going to be looking at 3 different doses. In addition, to measure that over 3 years is really novel. And what we're able to do here then is to use really the only piece of equipment like this in the world, which is this scanner that's sitting behind me here, to measure bone structure and to really get at the question, does vitamin D help with bone strength? The key things that we're going to measure in this study are the bone density, because everybody in the research world likes to see density. It's a very well accepted measurement. As I've said, that density doesn't tell us the whole story. We need to measure bone strength, and we're going to be measuring that with our new equipment that we have. In addition to that, those are the bone measurements that we do. We're also going to be measuring things like quality of life, so related to how does vitamin D affect people's depression or things like that. So we'll be able to very precisely monitor all of these things over the next 3 years. What we want for the study is to recruit volunteers who will be participating in the 3-year trial. They'll be randomized into one of 3 groups who are receiving either 400, 4,000, or 10,000 units of vitamin D daily. We won't know what they're receiving. They won't know what they're receiving either, because we're both blinded. But we'll be monitoring their bone health and other aspects of their health over the 3-year trial. They'll still be getting their clinical care from their regular physicians. These will be people who are between the ages of 55 and 70, both men and women. For women, we're trying to get women who are at least 5 years postmenopausal, and that's related to the bone changes that may be occurring in that first 5 years. If people want to participate in the study, what they should do is they should contact the University of Calgary. We have an email address set up for them. It's vitamin D, all one word, at ucalgary.ca, or they can phone our lab at 403-220-3188. They could also look us up on the internet. We have a website there, bonelab.ucalgary.ca.